This old-time radio program was originally aired live, long before the advent of high fidelity. We hope, however, that any variance in audio quality will not take away from your pleasure in listening to this, one of the all-time favorite shows.
This is Inland Palladi, and you are listening to White Station Theatre on the Air. Theatre on the Air would like to remind you to stay home, social distance, and wash your hands. Now, please enjoy White Station Theatre on the Air's performance of
Listen to Mercedes McCambridge as defense attorney following this important announcement. The United States is involved in an immense program of defense mobilization. Its success depends on the maintenance of a strong, healthy economy. Increased sales of United States defense bonds will ensure that success. Here's a job for America that everybody can share. In addition to helping your country, you can also help yourself because a bond bought is money saved. You can buy bonds on the payroll savings plan or the bond a month plan. Whichever method you choose, make tomorrow your D-Day. Buy an extra bond for defense.
Ladies and gentlemen, to depend upon your judgment and to fulfill my own obligation, I submit the facts. Fully aware of my responsibility to my client and to you as defense attorney.
The American Broadcasting Company presents Defense Attorney. When Martha Ellis Bryant chose law as a career, she accepted the challenge of defending the defenseless. Jimmy Leonard was one of the defenseless, a 16-year-old newsboy charged with hit-and-run manslaughter. He is being held at the Midtown Precinct where Martha Ellis Bryant is summoned by Judd Barnes. I want you to see him, Marty. I want you to talk to him. Lieutenant Letus will be back any minute. He'll okay the visit.
You're pretty upset about this boy, Judd.
I've known him since he was 2 feet high, and I don't think he's guilty.
The police must have had some reason for bringing him in.
Well, he owns a hot rod. Keeps it in the public garage near the paper. When he went in this morning, the fender and the headlight were smashed up. He took it to a body shop to have it straightened, and the police picked him up and nothing flat.
Because of that man who was run down on River Street last night?
Yeah. A couple of people who were waiting near the ferry slip said they saw a hot rod come zooming along and kill him. Jimmy's hot rod isn't the only one in town. Half the kids who peddle our papers have ones just like it.
But not with a smashed fender, is that it?
Somebody might have backed into the car in the garage. Jimmy says he didn't drive it last night, and I believe him.
Why, Judd? Usually you're the doubting Thomas.
Marty, it takes somebody pretty cold-blooded to run down a man and then beat it without stopping to help. This kid isn't cold-blooded.
Judd, he's just a boy. He might have been frightened.
Not that frightened, Marty. Oh, hi, Ed.
Hello, Lieutenant.
Hi, Judd. Miss Bryant.
Ed, Marty wants to see Jimmy Leonard. How about it?
Yes, somebody better see him. He's gonna need help.
What do you mean by that, Ed?
I mean, he killed a man on River Street last night.
You want to make book on that?
Save your money. I just came from the lab.
His car was in the garage all night.
Not according to the lab report. There's a blood trace on that smashed fender that matches the blood of the man who was killed. Not only that, but glass fragments found at the scene of the wreck match perfectly with the broken headlight.
Could there be any doubt about that, Lieutenant?
You've seen enough lab reports, Miss Bryant. Take a look at this one.
The car could have been stolen.
Use your head, Judd. If anyone did steal it and kill the man, they would have ditched it in some side street. They wouldn't bring it back to the garage.
Lieutenant, has the dead man been identified?
Yeah, his name is Fred Rimley, longshoreman. He was just finishing a job on the docks and was crossing River Street on his way home when that young punk came barreling along.
That kid isn't a punk, Ed.
Look, Judd, we've been friends for a long time, but I got a job to do this morning. Gotta go over to Tenement Row and tell Fred Rimley's wife and 2 kids he's one of the lousiest things a cop has to do. How do you expect me to feel about that hot rod jockey you're so fond of?
Lieutenant, maybe you have proof that Jimmy Leonard's hot rod killed Fred Rimley, but you haven't proof that Jimmy Leonard was driving the car.
Maybe not, but I can prove that he lied. Claims he was home last night. I spoke to his old man a half hour ago. The kid hasn't been home since he left to peddle his papers yesterday. Now, if you still want to go see him, go ahead. Better you than his old man.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, Father doesn't think as much of him as you do. And if the old man ever see him, he'd beat his brains out. And believe me, I'm tempted. I'm sorry I blew up at you.
My fault as much as yours, Ed. I didn't know about Rimley's family.
I better go. I'll clear your visit with the front desk, Sergeant. He'll take you back to the cell whenever you're ready.
Look, Jimmy, Miss Bryant can help you, but she can't if you won't talk.
I told you everything.
You haven't told us where you were last night.
I was home.
Your father says you weren't.
Maybe he didn't hear me come in. He was sleeping. I got up this morning before he did.
Jimmy, how big is the space you live in?
Not big. Kind of small.
How many bedrooms?
1.
Where do you sleep?
Pop and I share the room. We got twin beds.
How about your mother, Jimmy?
She's dead.
I'm sorry, I didn't know that.
It's alright.
Jimmy, where were you last night?
Jimmy, I've always been a friend of yours, haven't I?
Well, sure, Mr. Barnes, you've been close to me.
Then why should you lie to me? Where were you last night, son?
I was, no, I can't tell you.
Jimmy, are you refusing to protect yourself, or are you trying to protect someone else?
No, I can't tell you, that's all. I just can't tell you. So why don't you go away? Why don't you leave me alone?
Come on, Marty. I guess Ed was right.
Just a minute. Jimmy, did you ever lend your car to anybody? Was there anybody who might have had a duplicate of the ignition key?
No, I was the only one who ever drove it. I only made it a month ago. A bunch of us made them. We chipped in and bought parts so we can get them wholesale.
Mm-hmm. Did any of the other fellows keep their cars in the same garage?
Yeah, a kid by the name of Rembrandt. I don't know his real name. We call him Rembrandt because he goes to art school at night. And Frankie Cutter, yeah, they're the only ones. Look it, lady, what can they do to me?
Jimmy, you're just 16. And if they find you guilty, you'll be sent to the state reformatory until you're 21. 5 years.
Jimmy, 5 years. Think, son.
Look now, I didn't kill that man. I didn't drive last night. The car was never out of the garage.
All right, so the car wasn't. So the police lab is crazy. But where were you?
Judd, leave him alone, darling. It's no use. Come on, I want to see those other newsboys.
Jimmy's in kind of a jam, huh?
A bad jam, Frankie.
I understand you have a car just like his, Frankie.
Sure, a bunch of us got 'em. We all made 'em together.
Mm-hmm. Do you keep yours in the same garage?
Gotta keep it someplace. What a racket. $8 a month garage rent. I could leave it in the street and save the dough, but the cops keep slapping tickets on it. Hey, got a butt, Mr. Bonds? I'm out.
Sure, Frankie. Here.
Thanks. Look it. My old lady sticks her head in here. Grab the weed fast, will ya? She screams like an eagle if I smoke in the bedroom.
Frankie, did you happen to see Jimmy Leonard any place last night?
No. Why? Did he say I did?
No.
To your knowledge, has Jimmy ever gone around with a girl?
A girl? Jimmy? Nah, he's too square.
Uh-huh. Is your car in good working order, Frankie?
Ooh, the dream on wheels. I got a carburetor on that baby. You ought to see it go. I knock off work in the mornings about 4:30 and head over to the speedway. A lot of hot rod guys there in the morning, you know. So there's no traffic and we can race. Ain't nothing can touch that heap of mine.
Do you do that every morning?
Sure, it kicks.
Did you do that this morning?
No, not this morning. I was too tired, you know.
Uh-huh. Where was your car last night while you were working? Was it in the garage?
What? Well,
Is it there now?
of course it's there now. Rembrandt's too.
Yeah, we know. We've already spoken to Rembrandt.
Well, thank you very much, Frankie. Judd, we better go.
Sure.
Stick around a few minutes. The old lady went out to get some cake. She'll fix y'all some coffee or something.
Oh, no thanks, Frankie. Thank your mother for us.
I don't want to get up and show you out the door in my pajamas. Ain't got no bathrobe.
That's all right, Frankie. We'll find our way. Goodbye and thank you.
Sure. Some classy dame you got there, Mr. Barnes. Keep her covered so she shouldn't get cold.
Yeah, I will. So long, Frankie. So, how do we get out?
I think we came in through that door. The other one must have been a kitchen or a closet or something.
Right you are, Princess. Marty, what do you think of Frankie?
I feel sorry for him.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Tenement Row isn't the ideal setting to grow up in. My folks used to live in a place like this.
You grew up all right.
I was lucky, Marty. I learned how to put words together till they made sentences. Ah, street level. There's the door.
Like the end of a dark tunnel. Judson, I know you have to get back to work, so I can take a cab to Jimmy Leonard's house, huh?
Yeah, I'm afraid you'll have to, Marty. I'll drop you by the cab stand.
All right.
Still want to see Jimmy's father?
Yeah, I do. And when you get to the paper, will you check around a little? Ask some of the other boys if they saw Jimmy last night?
Yeah, sure. Maybe one of them... Hey!
What is it?
Lieutenant Letus is coming out of that building across the street. There's his car. Hey, Ed! Ed!
He sees you, Judd. He's coming across.
That must have been where Remling lived. Letus said Tenement Row.
Yeah, I know.
Hi.
Hi.
Hope you didn't come down here to see Miss Rimling.
No, Marty had to stop in the neighborhood.
How is she, Lieutenant?
Couple of neighbors with her now. And the minister from the church, she'll be all right, I guess, if she isn't left alone. 2 cute kids. Look, Judd, I want to ask a favor.
Sure, Ed.
Your paper makes a pitch for someone every once in a while to get help from them. Fred Rimling's family could use some help.
I'll get right on it, Ed.
No insurance, no nothing. Killed coming from work last night. The first work he's had in 3 months.
In 3 months? Longshoremen should be busier than that. There's a lot of shipping.
Yeah, well, for some reason, he'd been on layoff till yesterday. Longshoremen's union had a meeting yesterday afternoon. He was elected delegate. I'd better get back to headquarters. Where are you going?
I'm going to the paper. Marty's going to see Jimmy's father.
Lieutenant, would you mind doing something for me?
Help that kid? Why? Well, what do I want?
I want you to check the license plate of Jimmy's car, then check the registration. Make sure the motor number on the car is right.
What's the reason for that, Marty?
Just a possibility. Rembrandt and Frankie Cutter had cars exactly like Jimmy's. One of them might have switched parking stalls and license plates. I just want to make sure that Jimmy's car is Jimmy's car.
Look, Miss Bryant, his key fit the damaged car. He drove it out to the repair shop. A fella can always tell his own car, even from others just like it.
I know, Lieutenant, but just the same, check it for me, will you? I'll come down to see what you find, after I see Jimmy's father.
I told him. I told him 100 times if I told him once that card'd get him in trouble. Now look at him, behind bars.
Well, tomorrow morning he'll be arraigned and transferred to the county jail, and then you'll be able to see him.
I don't want to see him. Not unless I can get my hands on him. I'd like to break his neck.
Mr. Leonard, what kind of father are you?
The kind he should have listened to. I've been too easy with him. He's just like his mother was, blood'll tell. That's what she'd do, kill a man and run. She never had the guts to face anything.
But he's a 16-year-old boy. He's alone, he's frightened. And he may go to a reformatory if he's found guilty. Does that mean anything to you?
I never should have kept him. She wanted him. I should have let her have him. They're 2 of a kind.
Who are you talking about? Some girl?
I'm talking about his mother.
Well, isn't your wife dead?
How should I know? Haven't seen her in 10 years. She wanted him, but she couldn't get him. And when I got finished with that divorce course, I showed him what she was.
You mean you divorced your wife and you got custody of the boy?
The court found she wasn't a fit mother.
Did the court find that you were a fit father?
I did everything for him. Tried to make something out of him.
It's almost unbelievable how far justice can miscarry.
What do you mean by that, Craig?
You never wanted that boy.
I took him, made a home for him.
You took him so you could do just what you've done, not because you wanted him, but so you could punish him. So you could get revenge for whatever you think your wife did to you.
Who do you think you are to come in and talk to me like this in my own house? Now get out of here. And when you see that son of mine, tell him I hope they keep him in jail forever.
I will, Mr. Leonard, I will. Because compared to the home you've given in, his life there will be paradise.
Well, here's the check on the serial number of the motor, Miss Bryant. It tallies the numbers on the registrations.
Well, I'm sorry I bothered you, Lieutenant. It was just an off chance.
Oh, Judd called a few minutes ago. He's on his way over to meet you.
Thank you. Has Jimmy Leonard said anything since I left?
Nah, he's still calmed up. Another fool kid. If he hadn't run away from the charge, it wouldn't be so bad. A year, maybe. But that hit and run? What happens to a kid's brain, Miss Bryant? It's an accident, not murder. But why didn't he stay to face it?
Guess he was afraid to face something else. His father.
Yeah, you'd think he hated the kid. You know the kid's guilty, don't you, Miss Bryant?
Don't ask me that, Lieutenant. My job is to defend him.
Yeah, sure. I'm sorry. I got some work to do, but you can wait here for Judd, okay?
Yeah, thanks.
Oh, sorry, Ed.
Well, speak of the devil. Here's your bow now, Miss Bryant.
Got time to grab a bite with us, Ed?
Cops never eat or sleep. You know that.
Any luck, Marty?
Yeah, all bad.
I got some bad news, too. Jimmy was definitely lying about where he spent the night.
Why? Do you know where he was?
At the Hotel Severin Plaza.
The Severin Plaza?
Yeah, there's a newsstand in the lobby. One of the men on the delivery route was making a drop there, and he saw him.
He might have just been walking through. That hotel opens on 2 streets.
Delivery man says Jimmy was at the desk registering. Said he called to him, but Jimmy turned his face away. Said he thought maybe he'd made a mistake.
Did you check with the desk clerk?
Yeah, Jimmy's registered all right. Not only that, but he'd been there before. For some reason or other, he'd stayed at that hotel about 1 night a month.
Strange. A boy like him in a hotel like that.
Yeah, and there's something even stranger. He'd always call in advance and make a reservation. Why, do you think he was seeing somebody or something?
Yeah, I do. And I think I know who. His mother, Judd.
Oh, his mother's dead. You heard him tell us that.
If she's dead, Jimmy's father doesn't know about it. They were divorced 10 years ago. Oh, Judd, that boy's not guilty. He's hiding something.
Well, he won't talk, Marty. You saw that.
Maybe we can find something that will make him talk. You go back to that hotel and go through that register. See if a woman has also registered there but the same days Jimmy did. Get all the information you can on her. Because if we find her, I think we'll find Jimmy's mother.
You may have something, Marty. Why don't you come with me?
Nope, I got another stop to make.
Yeah? Where?
Down at the docks. I'd like to know why Fred Rimley only got 1 day's work in 3 months.
Hey you, sister.
Yes?
These docks ain't no place for a lady. Wasting everything. You might get hurt.
Thank you very much. I'll be careful.
Hey, wait a minute. Don't go. I ain't finished talking yet.
Let go of my arm.
You've been nosing around the docks all afternoon asking the longshoremen questions. Shouldn't do that. Guys gotta work.
I don't think what I do is any of your business.
It's all my business. I'm Joe Boston. You're wasting the time, and they all work for me.
Oh, I see. You're Joe Boston.
Ah, heard of me, huh?
Yeah, this afternoon I heard quite a lot about you. Fred Brimling worked for you, didn't he?
Oh, yeah. Poor Fred. I just sent him some flowers. Bad thing. Poor guy getting killed like that. Leaving a family. I'll bleed for him.
Bleed for what? Ice water?
Look, you're a pretty fresh dame. What do you want around here?
I want to find out why Fred Brimling worked only 1 day in 3 months.
Docks are slow. That's why.
You're loaded with shipping. I've been talking to the men. And I know why he didn't work.
Hi, sister. Tell me.
He didn't work because you have the contracts for all the unloading done here, and you make the men kick back part of their pay.
Yeah? Get one of them to say that in front of me.
Oh, you know they're frightened of you. But Rimling wasn't he? He was ready to fight you. That's why the men elected him delegate yesterday.
He was a communist. Always making trouble.
He was not a communist. He went to church regularly, and all the men around here respected him. 1 day's work in 3 months. And a late job, too. One that brought him out on River Street at 3 o'clock to be killed under the wheels of a car.
A hot rod driven by a crazy kid? You blaming that on me?
No, I'm not blaming you. Yet. You let go of my arm.
Sure. I'll let go of it. But let me tell you something. You stay away from these docks. Stay out of my business. Or I'm gonna...
Or you're what, Buster? What's the matter, Marty?
Judd, he's...
Oh, you're fine. Ain't you, newspaper guy, huh?
That's right. And Miss Bryant happens to be the girl I'm gonna marry. I don't like to see her having trouble. Come on, Marty. I'll take you home.
Pretty happy you came along.
I looked for you all over the docks. Lucky I found you.
Yeah. Rimling was breaking up a racket on him, Judd. Boston looks like a man who wouldn't stop at any murder.
You sure?
He shakes the men down. Pay kick back. A couple of them hinted at it, but they're afraid.
Ed Leadus suspected Boston of strong-arm stuff before, up to and including murder, but he's never been able to hang it to him. But Marty, what's the connection between Joe Boston and Jimmy's hot rod?
I don't know. I keep thinking Jimmy's car was switched with another just like it. Lolita says that's wrong.
Yeah, over there's where Rimling was killed, Marty. Coming out of Pierce 37. Witness who saw the hot rod were in that parish there. Car came speeding along from that direction.
Yeah. Hey, Judd, what did you find out at the hotel?
Oh yeah! The kid's mother was at the hotel on those nights, all right. Her name is Mrs. Helen Goodrith now. Remarried. Comes from Pleasant, about 100 miles upstate. I called her and told her what happened. She broke up, Marty. She's on her way here now.
Good, that boy sure needs it.
She loves him, Marty. I could tell by her reaction to him.
Judd, look out, watch!
Ah, that crazy cab driver! He almost skidded right into us.
It wasn't his fault. It's this road. It's like glass.
Oil trunk overturned here a few days ago. They've tried to sand it down, but it's still slippery. Hear that sand and gravel kicking up under the fenders?
Yeah, I do hear it. Judd, I want to see Lieutenant Leadus. I want to see him right away.
Why? What are you so excited about?
The car that killed Rimling must have been through that oil slick.
Yeah?
I got an idea. The other may prove Jimmy didn't kill Fred Rimling.
Now wait a minute, Miss Bryant. Wait a minute. Give me that again. Slowly.
Lieutenant, the car that killed Rimling must have passed through that oily spot on River Street, right?
Yeah, so?
Suppose it was not Jimmy's car.
I got a short answer for you, Miss Bryant. If it wasn't Jimmy's car wouldn't have a smashed fender and headlights.
There were 2 other cars just like it in the same garage. The night man admitted he was asleep. Any one of those cars could have gone in and out without his ever seeing them.
Okay, well, what's your point?
Her point is that Rimling might have been killed by one of the other hot rods. How did you happen to pick Jimmy up, Ed?
You know how, Judd. We put out a bulletin to all repair shops to report a damaged hot rod.
And you got a call on a car with a smashed fender and headlight.
Yeah, and it's good, solid evidence.
But would it still be solid if you could prove that an undamaged fender and headlight were removed from Jimmy's car, right in that garage, and the damaged ones put on in their place?
Yeah, Ed, it could happen.
Yeah, I never thought of it, but you're right, it could. But how can you prove it?
Your labs can. But that oil slick, the death car came through it. The sand kicks up under the fenders and some of it sticks.
It did on my car, Ed. I checked to see.
That's proof, Lieutenant. You have the lab go over Jimmy's car again. If we did drive through there, there'll be traces of oily sand under all 4 fenders. But if you only find it under the damaged fender, then that fender does not belong on Jimmy's car.
Miss Bryan, if I ever kill anyone, you got a client. Hello? Call the lab. Tell him I want a crew at the police garage right away.
Ed, you better send somebody to look after those other cars, too. One's belonging to Rembrandt and Frankie Cutter. If one of them made the switch, he'll have oil and sand under 3 fenders.
That's a good idea.
I'll bet on Frankie Cutter's car. Frankie told us he used to go racing every morning, but he admitted he didn't the morning after Ringling was killed.
Sure, he missed the races because changing that fender and headlight took time.
Mm-hmm. Where's he live?
Let's see, it's almost 9 p.m. He should be at the newsstand by now, 5th and Madison.
Hello? Give me radio division. Radio, Lieutenant Letus. Put out a pickup for a kid named Frankie Cutter. He's a newsie, 5th and Madison. Have him brought in here and held till I get back.
I didn't kill him, I tell you. I was working the newsstand.
Save it, Frankie. You're cooked. The lab crew can prove you switched fenders on Jimmy's car.
You may as well tell the truth.
Come on, Frankie.
Give me a butt, will you? I'm out.
You can smoke later.
Okay. I changed the fenders and the light, but I didn't kill nobody. I was at the stand. Somebody else had the car.
Who?
I tell you, he'll kill me. He's a big shot. The stub. He's got connections.
Maybe we could tell you, Frankie. It was Joe Boston, wasn't it?
Huh? How's you know?
Was it Boston? Come on, Frankie, talk.
Yeah. He came by the stand that night. I had my car in the alley by the movie, you know. Every time he picked up a paper, Boston, I mean, he used to be a buck. A big guy, you know. So it's about 2 a.m. when he comes by. He wants to know if he can borrow my car. To a guy like him, you don't say no. So I give him the keys.
And when did he come back?
About 3:30. Tells me he had an accident. The thing is smashed up. The fender and the headlight. He gave me a C-note to keep my trap shut. I didn't know what happened. When I took the car into the garage tonight, the guy was asleep, so I globbed into a fender and the light from Jimmy's car. Next morning when I found out a guy got killed, I was scared stiff. I couldn't say nothing. Boston laid me out.
Enough, Lieutenant?
Plenty. Radio division? Radio. Lead us again. Another pickup. Joe Boston on 224. No, I'm not kidding. This time he rides. Come on, Frankie.
Where you taking me? I didn't do nothing.
You're a material witness. I want to keep you alive until Joe Boston isn't. You're lucky we picked you up.
He's right, Frankie. If Boston knew we were asking questions about him when he picked up his paper tonight, your tip might have been more than $1. He'd shut you up for good.
When they bring him in, you ain't gonna keep him in the same cell with me, are you?
No, but I oughta, just for kicks. Come on, move. While I'm putting this one in, I'll let Jimmy Leonard out.
We'll wait.
Marty, thanks. You saved a good kid.
Jimmy'd have to be good. If he weren't, he would have gotten into trouble a long time ago with that father of his. That man is a real...
Is Lieutenant Letus here?
or Mr. Barnes. I've got to see one of them right away, please.
I'm Mr. Barnes. You must be Jimmy Leonard's mother.
Yes, I came as soon as I heard. Let me see him, please.
It's all right, Mrs.
Goodrich.
Mrs. Goodrich. Jimmy will be here now in just a minute. He's being released.
Released? You mean he's all right? They know he didn't do anything.
Yes. Yes, they know. Mrs. Goodrich, he wouldn't tell them where he'd been that night. Do you know why?
Because of me. My husband. Not Jimmy's father. But Mr. Goodrich. He doesn't know I've been married before. I never expected to see Jimmy again after his father divorced me. So I never told Mr. Goodrich.
I see.
Since the divorce, I didn't see Jimmy again until last year. Came to do some shopping, saw him selling papers, and recognized him. A mother knows. I had to see him after that. We meet once a month.
Take it easy, Mrs. Goodrich.
I was afraid to tell my new husband. Afraid I might lose him if I told him now. So late. I guess that's why Jimmy wouldn't say where he was. He knew I was happy. He didn't want to bring me into it.
Yes, but you'll have to tell your husband now.
I did. Right after Mr. Barnes called. I don't know why now. I was afraid to tell him before. I got a good man this time. He's out there in the car. He wants me to bring my boy home with us. I can't. He's still a minor. The court gave his father custody.
Mrs. Goodrich, you take the boy along with you. You leave the rest to me. I'll get the decision reversed if I have to spend my life in a courtroom.
Thank you. I don't... Jimmy, my baby!
Mom!
Come on, Judd.
You know, Marty, you worry me.
Why?
Well, there's nothing a man dreads more than the prospect of being married to a woman that's smarter than he is.
Don't worry about it, Judd.
Why not?
Because if I'm really smarter than you are, I'll be smart enough to never let you know it.
All right, that's a deal. Now, give me a kiss.
I don't wanna.
Come on.
Well...
Well.